Many blessings to all of you on this Midwinter or Imbolc. I just wanted to take a brief second to begin this video by showing my altar after it's been cleaned up. I have my milk and honey and my candles lit. Said a little prayer and anointed everything. The goddess candle is very bright. You see, she is excited to be here today. Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic midwinter celebration, or the beginning of it, or the end of it, or welcome to learning about it. So, I made this video yesterday. Wait, did I just toast? Wait, hold on. I toast to you, everybody. You might have already noticed I posted another video this morning. Showed me several videos today. The one earlier was impromptu about my altar, mostly because of the throwing stuff in the trash. Yesterday I made this video, and it turned out to be like an hour long, and I didn't realize while I was filming, but apparently my camera only filmed for about 30 minutes, and then it loops over into a new video. So when I went to upload it yesterday, I was all excited. I was like, yay, I got this done. I'm gonna have such a great day. It's so productive. And it said 32 minutes. I was like, wait, that video was way longer than that. So today we're gonna make some shorter videos. I don't know how well it'll work out with the kids getting up and whatnot, but we're gonna try to work this out. We're gonna super it up. So, first of all, today is February 1st. Depending on where you are and what tradition you follow, this holiday is celebrated at different times and can be called by some different names. Most people are going to call it Imbolc. I personally call it Midwinter. When I'm teaching about the holidays, I like to use a more general term that establishes more of the chronological order. So I'll refer to the holidays as the winter solstice, midwinter, the spring equinox, high spring, the summer solstice, early harvest, the equinox, and then the last harvest. And that way it's just easy to remember where they are. You get them all in order. They're in English, so it's not hard to pronounce, and you don't get confusions between Samhain and Samhain. I've also heard it Samhain. There's just lots of different ways because we don't speak those languages. So, with all of that said, let's talk about midwinter. And so this first video is just going to be a brief intro. I'm going to talk a little bit about the holiday, some of the traditions behind the name, why they call it Imbolc, and the energy right now. Later there will be a video about some crafts and some magic that you can do. And then there will be a third video, fingers crossed, that we'll talk about the myths and traditions from around the world. Because however we call this holiday Imbolc, throughout history and throughout different cultures, there are different holidays. And they're all celebrated around this time. They all kind of have the same influential energy. It's actually why my video went on so long yesterday, is because I'm really excited about that thought and about the connectedness of our ancestors and how all of these religions, even though we're separated by hundreds of years or thousands of miles or time and space and all of those things, still this time of year is associated with the same kind of energies. So, with that said, let's get to the beginning of my notes. When I went to print out the things that I have typed for this holiday, it's like 9 pages. So I'm not going to go over all of that. I took a lot of it out. So I don't know if I've talked a lot about this on the channel, but one of my fascinations is holidays, like pagan holidays and pagan myths about holidays and the energies and all of that stuff. So Midwinter is celebrated traditionally around February 2nd. It's about 40 days after, well, it is 40 days after Yule, so that can transition depending on when Yule happens. And even some who are, oh, it just went out of my brain. There's a specific pantheon of pagan they're very science-minded. They very much focus on that. So they're a great resource. Humanists. Pagan humanists, I think? Or maybe not. Anyways. So midwinter is when we begin to start to see the decline of winter, kind of depending on where you are. This is scientifically true because now the days are starting to get a little bit longer. You're seeing the sun come up a little bit earlier. It's staying up a little bit longer. So we're getting longer days. You're also going to start to see the first of your little plants starting to come out, early bloomers, those white little crocuses that come up early. There's a couple other plants, daffodils, daffodils and dandelions and tulips will all start to come up soon. So that by the time we get to the equinox and spring actually is here, those plants are already up. But so we're seeing those first lights of spring, this first like, oh, we're going to come out of winter, okay. And if we look into the mythology of the Wiccan goddess and god cycle, this is when the goddess is in her crone state, but she's also transitioning from crone to maiden. And it's not a short transition, it takes all the way to spring, but now she starts to like begin to shed those leaves of her croneness. And in that you can take a lot of wisdom and really connect with that energy. And she's willing to share that before she transitions and the goddess dies and comes back as that youthful maiden. And the god, on the other hand, he is at this like adolescent 8 to 10-year-old boy kind of place where he's very like youthful and vibrant and curious and just starting to come out. We're feeling the rays of the sun a little bit longer. It's a little bit warmer. Hopefully soon I'll be able to do videos outside again. But we're just starting to see that growth and that sprout of energy, and it's curious and it makes you curious, like, what can I do? And so the two energies really lend themselves to kind of tapping in, using your curiosity to tap in with that energy of the crone and come together and, like, fulfill that curiosity, learn, like, find an answer for those things. And the crone can help you point that in the right direction. So the name Imbolc, there is some debate onto where the name, like what it actually means and how it translates. So the Proto-Indo-European translation is both milk and cleansing. And so in our modern brains, those two words are not homogenous. Most people, a lot of pagans, a lot of like naturalists, people like that, unless you're getting the cow and the milk yourself, a lot of people are against milk. They don't see it as clean. It's definitely not this like pure cleansing whatever, but you have to think about like breast milk. You have to think about mother's milk, and you also have to think about our ancestors. So at this point in the cycle, you've been through a hard winter and it's been cold and you can't grow anything and you're starting to run out of your reserves, your dried fruit, your frozen foods, the ground's starting to warm, so you're not going to be able to keep things frozen for much longer. You're running to the end of your supplies. And simultaneously at this time, the animals are starting to get pregnant. It's just a natural cycle. That way they can be pregnant through the summer when it's safe and they have food. And in that, they're starting to make milk. And for thousands and thousands of years, our ancestors have kept ruminant animals that make milk. So it's in Ireland and to the Celts, where Imbolc is from, that would have been sheep. So it talks about ewe's milk. And that would have been an amazing moment because you would have been like, this would have been a sweet, like, oh, you would have been excited. You're like, yes, the sheep have milk. We're going to have this warm milk. It's going to be delicious. We'll make cheese and curds and different things that we can eat and have something different because you've been eating dried fruit and vegetables and hard winter squash and grains that we're able to store through the winter, and it's getting boring. Porridge every day is not fun. So, can't tell if that's a kid calling me. Nope, it's not. She's talking to the dog. They're trying to put clothes on him. He's old. Anyways, so the reason that milk and cleansing go together is because this would have been a pure source of food that, you know, something that would have sustained you. And, you know, it's what we give to babies, the pure and the innocent. Like that's how you have to put those two together. That's how they can be used interchangeably. So the old Irish translation for Imbolc, which I imagine the LC probably doesn't say olk, but that's how it's phonetically written in English. So, but it translates to in the belly. And so it's that same kind of thing. Like we put the milk in our belly, the ewes have babies in their belly. We are going to thrive and succeed because these things are happening. And so that would have been like an exciting moment. And that's what was celebrated now, is that we're still going to carry on. Our cycle is going to continue and we're not going to be stuck here and die. So the energy of this time is all about that. It's about taking stock of what you've had that's made it through from last year. It's about bringing in something new and fresh, that's life-giving and sustainable. And it's about the mother. It's about the grandmother. It's about the energies that watch over us and protect us and make sure that we make it through these cold and harsh times. And I know in modern times it's not cold and harsh and we're like, oh, well, I live in a heated house and I drive a car and I have a warm coat. So it's hard to associate with those things. One of the easy ways to do that is to get out and stand out in the cold without a coat on just for a moment and breathe and meditate and take in that energy of the earth. Walk outside barefoot, even if it's just for a second to walk back inside. You're not going to die. You can make it. And really just connect with that energy and connect with your ancestors and what it would have been like 1,000 years ago to be in the elements. You know, this is a great time to connect with the ancestors of the land, because just like that maternal godmother, that too, grandmother energy, you can connect with the grandmothers of the ancestors that lived on the land that you live on. And so if you have trouble connecting because you don't know your heritage or whatever, those are energies that you can connect. You go outside, you put your hand on the ground and feel that energy. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no, okay. I anointed with the gardenia oil on my altar, so it's like very floral. It's great, but now it's starting to make my nose tickle. The energy at this time is also of new beginnings. So it's that transition from using the energy we have and the wisdom and the everything to bring out this new beginning, just like every mother does when she has a new child and that child is released into the world. It's that same kind of thing. And that's what we're honoring now. So this is a great time to like bless magical seeds, to make offerings to the mother goddess and the grandmother goddess, to cleanse. Magically, this is also a time when we do planning. So if you have a magical planner, if you have a book of shadows that you do your planning in, now would be a great time to do some planning. Just some rough out, like, hey, this is what I'm curious about this year. This is what I want to learn about this year. And kind of outline that. These are my magical goals for this year. That's a great time to do this. If you're going to self-initiate, say you want to initiate into a new practice or into a new state of your practice, if you feel like you've metamorphed over the last year of 2020, where you've spent so much time watching videos and reading books and really evaluating self, this is a great time to do a reinitiation or a new initiation or initiation to self. Just I dedicate this year to this goddess. Whatever you want to connect with and kind of commit to, this is a great time to do that. If you're looking to start a coven, this is a great time to do coven initiations and to start new magical, groups and to move forward with that kind of thing. So, see, it's morning time. The kids are rousing. They're doing stuff. I took too long cleaning my altar, but I was having so much fun. All right. Let's see. Okay. Another big aspect of this holiday is fire. I almost didn't say anything. This is a candle mass. So, Like right now on the other side of the planet, they're celebrating the early harvest, the first candle mass, or the opposite candle mass. You're doing the same kind of things. You are putting energy in, you're taking stock of the energy that you have, and you're planning for what's going to happen. And that's where we're at in the cycle. Actually, pause. I want to show you a cool thing. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so I have this cool thing. All right, so it's been hanging on the wall for a while. Don't mind the dust, okay? It's really dusty where I live. I'm not a big duster. So this is our wheel of the year. My kids do this, but grown-ups can do this too. I like doing this at festivals with people. It's just fun for them. And it's an 8-spoked wheel, and each spoke is a different holiday. So we have written on them, let's see. It looks like they're like backwards and crazy. Here we go. Okay, so you have summer solstice, and then you go around the circle, and we have the early harvest, and we have the equinox, and we have Samhain, and we just keep going around. Let's get to midwinter, and you can see on the other side we have the early harvest. But this energy is like equal but opposite. It's the same energy, just the other side of the coin. You know, 25 cents is 25 cents on both sides. You just kind of see it from a different perspective. So on the the early harvest, when we're taking stock of what we have to get done so we can do the harvest so that we can prosper. On midwinter, we're taking stock of what we have left so we know what we need to plan for in the future. The heater kicked on at the same time I was dusting that. Now it's really dusty. So both of these are candle masses, and you see that in the Christian church, and that holiday was brought over to see Groundhog's Day. Later I'll go into where that kind of comes from and one of the many different myths that kind of represent that same thing. I'm trying to make this video short. It's already 17 minutes. Oh, that dust got me. Okay, sorry. So magically, we light candles. We put candles in the window. One of the great traditions would be you light one candle in your altar, like I light my goddess candle first, and then you use that candle to light all of the other candles. Tomorrow, I'll put a candle in the window to greet the sun in the morning and to welcome that energy. And I have small kids, and it's not really practical to leave it lit all day, but I'll leave it lit in the morning. And I'll come back to it and maybe light it at dusk, and just kind of honor that energy throughout the day to welcome the sun's return, to help the earth warm, to help her make that transition, to encourage the crone to release her knowledge and to move on to that next phase. We use the candles to share in the energy as like a medium between our energy and the God's energy. And this is us lighting this candle to send our love, to send our gratitude, to send our encouragement, to really just go through this transition together so that our energies can transition. So, let's see, magic, milk. Oh, so if you're going to make offerings for this holiday, milk and honey are great. Milk for the goddess and honey for the sun, something sweet to help energize you, something nourishing to help sustain you, and light a candle. So that's the first of these, second of these, I guess. I'll be back with more later. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll work out, and I will talk to you all soon. I hope you're having a great Imbolc, midwinter, Groundhog's Day, like I said, whatever you call it. We're coming up on, anyways, I could just rant. I love the holidays, so we're going to stop. Many blessings to all of you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be on and off YouTube all day uploading videos, so I'll be pretty active and be able to see it. But many blessings to you, and I hope that you have a great midwinter.